So today in this video I would like to explore a little bit basically why so many people are afraid of the new developments in AI, in artificial intelligence. I mean, if you read newspapers online a little bit or watch videos, YouTube videos, quite often I can hear and read that people are kind of worried about these new developments, not only because AI threatens jobs, and that's most certainly going to indeed cause quite a bit of a job loss in the future. I mean, these are the predictions, but I think there's something deeper to that, and I would like to explore that with you. I have my own take on this issue, of course, and I would like to start a little bit earlier because I kind of have to set up everything a little bit. So at the beginning right now, I would like to turn the time back a little bit when I was a child. And this is important. This backstory is a little bit important also to explore the topic of why people are afraid of AI. So bear with me. Yeah, so basically the backstory is the following. I remember when I was a child, I used to read science books a lot. Was, of course, like many children, interested in dinosaurs, but also the solar system. My grandparents gave me an astronomy book, and they're basically pictures and drawings of the planets, of the sun, and so on. At that time, we still had 9 planets. Pluto was still a planet. And I read somewhere that essentially our solar system is the only solar system in the entire universe. And I kind of felt a little bit special. Wow, isn't this kind of cool? I mean, the only solar system in the entire universe, and then there is even life, and even humans, intelligent life on one of those planets. Even at that time when I was a kid, I already realized the question of probability. How high is the probability that exactly on the only one solar system in the entire universe, there's actually intelligent life, and we humans, and even I myself, the probability was kind of very low. So this is actually one of the things that actually kind of engaged me quite a bit, and I was spending quite a bit of time as a kid wondering about this. Yeah, of course, we're not the only solar system. We're not on the only solar system in the universe, but this was at the time before so-called extrasolar planets have been discovered. So essentially the technology, the telescopes weren't there yet. And of course, I think in 1988 or something around that time, they basically discovered the first planet which is outside of our solar system. And I think ever since then they've discovered already thousands of them. And it's but for me, when I heard that at that time, I kind of felt a little bit special that we are kind of, we humankind are kind of special because we are living on the only solar system in the entire universe. But so basically when this kind of new discoveries were made, this kind of felt a little bit, we're not that special after all. And actually, if you go back in time a little bit, I mean, if you go at least in astronomy back in time, I mean, at the very beginning, I mean, the Earth was in the center of the universe, right? And the stars were tiny little holes in the sky, and there was a fire in the background. And then later on, the Earth is not in the center of the universe. It's the sun that's in the center, and the Earth and the other planets are just going around it. We kind of lost a little bit this feeling of being special again. And then later on, our solar system is basically just somewhere in the periphery of the Milky Way. It's a galaxy. Then in the 1990s, the Hubble Space Telescope took this so-called the Hubble Deep Field image, where there are millions of galaxies. So even our Milky Way galaxy is nothing special. So every time, with new discoveries, we kind of lost a little bit, or humankind lost a little bit this feeling of being special and unique. Which kind of might have impacted a little bit on the ego of humanity. And it's not only in astronomy where this happened, but also in the field of biology. Back in the day, 19th century, all living things are made of cells. So essentially the stuff that I as a human being am made of is not so fundamentally different than what, other living things are made of. Plants, for example, fungi, bacteria. So the commonality of life, that living things have something in common, and that even on that respect, we're not so different from the remaining living things. That's also kind of a little bit impacted, a little bit destroyed a little bit this feeling of being special. And I also know that when I was much younger, I read somewhere, we humans are special because we're the only animals that are using tools. Well, back I think in 1960s or 1970s, I think it was Jane Goodall who discovered chimpanzees also use tools. So even here, we again lost the feeling of being special. And I remember a couple of years ago, I read, or not read, it wasn't a television, there was an interview with a philosopher who basically said the next big impact which will shake up the self-perception of humanity will be the discovery of intelligent alien life. Then we're again not special anymore because, wow, there are creatures out there, living things out there, aliens out there, life forms out there, which are basically also intelligent, just like we are, right? So again, it kind of impacts a little bit our feeling of being special, and maybe you can already feel a little bit into which direction I want to go. Basically that, the tools that we've created, the artificial intelligence tools, yet again question a little bit the uniqueness that we feel of being human. Back in 1997, I remember that Garry Kasparov, he's a chess player, he lost against a computer, IBM's Deep Blue. It was big in the media, because actually playing chess being such a rich and complex and deep game, that's something that's unique to humans. Computers will never be able to beat humans in chess, right? Well, yeah, sure. Back in 1997, this actually happened, was big in the media. But at least I remember the game Go, which is the Asian board game with the white and the black pieces. Well, that is way more complex than chess, and it's, as a matter of fact, so complex that you have to play it based on intuition even. Well, but that's something that computers certainly are not able to emulate, intuition, human intuition. Well, a couple of years ago, maybe some of you already know, even that happened where basically the AlphaGo from the company Google was basically beating the world champion in the board game of Go. Right? Yeah, but at least computers are not going to be creative. They will not be able to do arts, compose music, and write poetry. Well, here we are right now. Essentially, where we are now slowly starting to realize that our own tools that we made, the computers, the artificial intelligence systems, actually even surpass us humans in that respect. So yet again, we've lost this feeling of being special, and we are now sensing that the tools that we create, which should help us, essentially become our own competition, right? And I think that the fear that many people have of artificial intelligence and so on, it is not primarily a fear, well, maybe it's going to take away my job. I think it's much more fundamental. It is that it challenges our very nature of who we are as a human, and it challenges basically our self-perception and maybe even the feeling of being unique, it kind of challenges a little bit our own egos, and I think that is the reason why the things that artificial intelligence is able to do these days causes many of us to feel a little bit uneasy and uncomfortable. Just wanted to share my thoughts with you. There is a comments section below. I'm going to leave it at that. I wish you all the best. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.